I'm joined this morning by Dr. Anna Price, who's a researcher with the Murdoch Children's Institute here at the Royal Children's Hospital. Dr. Price, thank you very much for your time. Now, this controlled crying, as it's sometimes also called, is often quite controversial. What have you found?
So we found that a brief sleep program offered to parents who wanted help managing their baby's sleep could improve baby's sleep, improve mum's sleep and her mental health, and it's safe to use.
Now, how do you, go about trying to learn this? Tell us about your study. How have you worked this out?
So for parents who said their baby's sleep was a problem at 7 months, they were offered a program based on controlled comforting, and controlled comforting involves putting a baby to bed tired but awake and leaving them for short periods of time even if they're crying, and the aim is to help the baby learn to fall asleep by themselves so they don't rely on mum or dad to feed or pad or rock them to sleep.
So this is essentially a way of getting more sleep for parents as well?
It is, and importantly reducing the distress and the depression that comes along with not sleeping, and then the other impacts like the effects on family functioning and the relationship parents have with each other.
What sort of intervals are you talking about? Walk us through the steps from that 6 or 7 month age.
So it's up to each parent to decide what works for them, but common periods are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes or 5, 10, 15 minutes. But if parents can only manage those shorter periods, it's fine. They can stick with 5 minutes, for example.
And there's another technique as well that you were talking about, which seemed quite interesting.
Yeah.
The idea of essentially being in the room and a baby can sense when their parents are there, essentially.
Yeah, so this is called camping out, and it's a more gradual approach, and it involves the parent sitting in a chair next to their cot or lying in a camp bed and slowly moving the chair or cot out of the room over 2 to 3 weeks. So it takes longer. Controlled comforting only takes a few days, but camping out for parents who find it too hard listening to their baby cry is a great option.
One that certainly requires a bit more patience and a lot of that early parental love and care.
That's right, and you'll find often that parents will switch back to controlled comforting when they decide that they really just need to get some sleep.
Now, you were saying that the difference between the children who had these techniques used and those that didn't tended to drop away at around 6 years?
Yeah, that's right. So there were really strong effects up to when children turned 2, which is fantastic, but by the time they turned 6, the effects tended to fade.
And is there any lasting mental health impact on either the children or the parents?
So that's what we wanted to look at. And what we found was that there were no differences between families who were and were not offered the program across a whole range of things like children's mental health, their behaviour, their stress levels, parents' mental health and sleep, which means that these techniques work and that they're safe to use.
So what's the cut-off? When do you need to know if it's just not working for you and this is something that you need to give away?
Well, we usually recommend with controlled crying. If it's not working after a week, chances are that it's not going to work for your baby, or you might need a little bit of help getting the technique right. And for camping out, which is that more gradual method, it's around a month. If that's not working for you, perhaps go and get some help.
Dr. Price, thank you very much for your time.